Blog number 69. There, following the Flinch, go I. Before I begin writing on this subject of the next blog, I would like to expand or add something onto the previous blog. I introduced the idea of the upright bug and a few differences between the unique or the handicapped and everyone else who is infected by this bug. In my writing, it appeared as if everyone is one or the other. Why, I continue to hold this as true, but what is also true is that within the larger group of infected lies a subgroup that lives in both worlds. I call them the passionately reformed. They are the ones who choose to walk daily beside someone who is handicapped, despite what challenges that living and working in the world of the infected may bring. We are unique and we are strong, but let's face it, we all need the loving support of the passionately reformed. They help us in so many ways. This group does not receive nearly enough credit, and over the years I've encountered many. Some who have made smaller gestures throughout the day that have reached into my world and helped me out, like a coworker. Some who have been with me, have laughed with me, have cried with me, and have walked beside me since the very beginning of my journey, like my loving wife, my family, and my friends. I wish to express my sincere gratitude for the love, the caring, and the support given so freely by this special group of people. And if you are one of the unique, I would strongly encourage you to thank the passionately reformed people that have touched your life. Well, over the last few years that I have stumbled, fumbled, and bumbled my way through life with the taxi along for the ride, I have discovered the truth that everyone who has received a diagnosis of spinal cerebellar ataxia, we all have a common physical affliction, but that over the course of time, we will all begin to develop and manifest our own unique twists or physical quirks. Where the diagnosis begins, and the main connection in all of us, is that we have the same malady, which lies in the degenerating cerebellum, which will always lead to a marked lack of coordination. We will all begin to struggle at that point to simply do the physical things that used to come so easy to us and that we now take for granted. The difficulties of walking, eating, speech are pretty much universal. However, there are some physical traits that are either shared by just a very few others or that are individually unique. For example, I am a flincher. I flinch. I've always been just a little bit jumpy, but just like the addition of salt will enhance the flavor of food, ataxia came along and salted my flinchiness. Hey, I don't think flinchiness is a proper word, but whether it is or not, that is exactly what ataxia did for me, so thank you very much. Or like a fine wine that is added to an already nice meal to bring out the... Well, yeah, okay, I'm sure you get the idea. The tendency that I have to jump, startle, and or flinch has now been shifted into a higher gear by the very real presence of SCA in my life, and has become a potential source of injury, as I more often than not typically break a simple rule learned from childhood by just going right ahead and leaping before I look. Either that or my reluctance to remain calm leads me to a mounting sense of frustration, as was the case just the other day. I had been using a spray bottle of disinfectant around the house, and I was putting it away. But before returning it, I decided to fill it from the main bottle so that it would be ready for me the next time that I needed to use it. I then bent down to place the now full bottle in the cabinet under the sink, where I had several mouse traps that were cocked, locked, and ready to spring. So do you see it coming? Because I saw it coming, but when I touched one of those spring-loaded landmines with a bottle and it shot up in the air, I flinched anyway, successfully jerking back in what can only be described as fluently erratic, and I threw the spray bottle towards the refrigerator. And even though I had twisted the spray nozzle back onto the bottle pretty firmly, it still popped right off because, why wouldn't it? And it gleefully spewed forth its contents, sharing all of them with my newly waxed floor while merrily rolling around, completely unconcerned and free. I had a few things to say in that moment, and I don't feel any restraints in expressing myself. But when all the cleanup was done, I was able to look back on the incident and have a pretty good chuckle at myself. I am not now, or was I ever, a very good dancer? I can admit this. I never had a friend brag to someone else about my mad dance floor skills or try to talk me into entering any serious dance competitions just simply because I'd be a shoo-in. Get it? Or because it would be a crime to not let people experience my brilliance and my liquid movements on the dance floor. The fact of the matter is that I've always found dancing to be extremely awkward, and as a kid I tried my best to avoid any situations that might call for the need to dance. But growing up I did have that one friend who loved to scare me because he knew that I was a flincher, and that within that brief and fleeting moment of my startled flight, that it would invent some new body contortions and dance moves that would rival anything that you've seen on Saturday Night Fever. And really, all that I can say now about dancing is that a taxi has already taken an awkward situation and enhanced it. This was done by a methodical extension of the repertoire of moves that already existed in my flinching bag of tricks. Forget about Saturday Night Fever. I could write and star in a movie called 24/7 Fever. I could also change Staying Alive, a song from that movie, to Staying Animated. One of the things that has developed over the years and that has really helped me to keep my handicap in perspective is that I have begun to see my ataxia as a separate person. This is the main reasoning behind the overall title of this blog. My ataxia is always there, and I see it as a constant journey with ataxia along for the ride. I have written before that it is like having that annoying person wanting to tag along, always bumming rides off me and never paying for gas. When I get up at night, I try to do so as quietly as possible so I don't disturb anyone else or wake up that enemy with ataxia. Just once I would like to walk to my recliner or the bathroom at night without ataxia always tagging along. But it really doesn't matter how silent I am or think I am, because the second I even open my eyes, there he is, staring right at me like he's been watching me sleep, just waiting for me to wake up and is now ready for anything. Hey, what are you doing? Where are you going? I better come with you. Oh, I can't make him stop. GPS units have nothing on ataxia. He is the ultimate stalker. But I said that thinking of my ataxia as a separate person helps me, and here's why. One of the reasons is because thinking this way gives me someone else to point the finger at, someone else to blame. This works in a very similar fashion as when one blames a household pet, as in, oh, I don't know how that plant got knocked over and all that potting soil got spilt on the rug, or don't look at me, I have no idea how that glass of water got spilled, or what? I don't smell anything. See how that works? It's always that guy at taxi's fault. The second reason is this. Because I know the day is coming when I will truly be free. A taxi will get up, expecting the same old routine, and I won't be there. He will wander around looking all over the place, but it won't do him any good. I can just imagine the taxi coming back to my house after having been out searching all day to check and see if I have finally shown up and being told that, he doesn't live here anymore. And sorry, but nope, he did not leave a forwarding address. But until that day comes, I will just continue to go wherever my flinching leads me.